it's really important to really focus on your goals. It's really important for you to do the things that you always wanted to do in your life, like your school, your education, that you know that, hey, you know what, this is gonna, in 2 or 3 years, you know, I complete this education, I'm able to get me a nice job. Um, you are networking with people that are in business, and this business that you are networking with them, like we're doing, okay, let's do real estate. This person done got made, done sold, you know, let's use this by an example. $800 million in property in real estate, and they, for themselves, they were able to make, let's say, when they got their cut, they were able to make 20 million out of it. And you're able to be around these type of people, and these people can get you to where you need to be. You are able to land this job, you get this big promotion. So at one point you were making 50,000 a year, by an example, and within the next 2 to 3, within the next year or a year, right, you can be able to make 6 figures because you got promoted. Now, for some of us, we see that's a great thing, right? But at times it becomes sad because you got people in your life that you are looking to just cheer for you, be your cheerleader, right? If that makes sense. And you want that support, and you want that person to be like, you know what? I know he was going to make it, just pat you in the back, and you say, hey, I did it. Now we can be able, I can help you out with the bills. Now I can be able to get you into this type of career because I did it. But sad to say, we always talk about it before. Not everybody's going to support you. Not everybody's going to be happy for you. In most cases, some people want to think that you're just bragging, trying to make them, put them down, belittle them. And it's sad because it's like in times that we're living in now, there's nothing wrong with getting that support. There's nothing wrong with, if you make it before me, and okay, cool, you could put me on. That used to be the mentality, at least when I was growing up, right? But how about if I tell you, and let's talk about it, focus on yourself so much to the point where you don't even need them. You don't even need them. You know what I mean? Sometimes I realize this even with my own business, right? When I begin to start like making sales here and there, don't get me wrong, I'm not making like millions of dollars and that, right? But it was to the point where I remember, man, I made my first $1,000 in the business. I got scared. I'm gonna be real with you, I got scared because it was like, this is something that I created from scratch. And wow, I made this much. Now, I was hoping to go and tell somebody. I was thinking about it. I'm like, dang, who I'm going to tell? And I realized I couldn't tell nobody because if anything, somebody, if anything, they're going to be jealous. They're going to tell, oh, you're making this much money. You're making, but it's to the point now you got to focus on where you don't, worry about anybody. And it's to the point where you know your self-worth. All right, but before I get into the video, let me introduce myself. This is Junior Bestfriend, your new best friend. And I invite you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. Today we're going to talk about, and this is the title of the video, be so focused on your growth, you don't even notice who's cheering for you. Think about it. You're so focused. You're getting that bag, right? You know what I mean? You working on your that business, you're working on that, whatever you're working on, it's to the point where you're so busy and you get in it, you don't even realize, and you don't even care to tell nobody like, yo, this is what I'm doing. You're not even cared about nobody cheering for you. And it's to the point where you get to that point and you get that blessing. It's to the point where, oh, okay, dang, what's the next level? That's where you want to be. You want to be to that point where you, okay, dang. You think when you start reflecting, or if you're a person that write down your notes and you write down your goals, right? And you reflect back and you're like, oh, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did, oh, You don't even think about it because you're so focused on it, and you just think about, wow, I came a long way. Because let's be real, everybody. A lot of the people, at least most of us right now watching this, and I'm sure that if you're not this kind of person, consider yourself very blessed. Most of the people that we have in our lives, and a lot of them, are not really happy where you're going. They're not going to be happy for what you have achieved. Now, a lot of us have told and stated to people that what we wanted to do and what we wanted to accomplish, and we got laughed at. That right there should be so motivating to you, to the point where when you do accomplish things you accomplished, and let's say if you do come across these same people, if you choose to, when they did ask you what you do, it's to the point when you start telling them what you do and what you have done, even though they laughed at you. You just tell them, oh, I did this, I did that already. Now I'm about to, let's say, I wanted to buy that building. Did you ever buy that building? Yeah, I bought that building. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, I actually bought that like 3 years ago. I'm working on my 10th building right now, and by next year, don't even go that far where you about to go. You say, oh yeah, I already purchased my 10th building already for the past 3 years. Ever since then, I bought and sold buildings. This one is gonna be, I own 10 buildings now, but I owned in the past 100. Right. You don't need nobody to clap for you. Let that be your motivation. Be so focused on yourself, you don't even notice who's around you. I remember, and I'm gonna use myself as an example. I wanted to do commercial print modeling. Commercial print. For those of you that don't want to know what commercial print modeling is like you take pictures for like brand name companies or editorial, like you're holding the items. Those you're like taking pictures with certain outfits on. If it's from a company, commercial print, right? Man, I remember some people I went around. I remember I was in my early 20s. I was so young, right? Naive. And I told people that's what I wanted to do. I was so excited. I loved it. I was taking pictures. Cool. I remember I used to tell people that so much, and I had people that were not in it, that was trying to get in it. They would try to like talk down on it and say, oh, aren't you too short to be a model? You gotta look like this, you gotta look like that, you gotta be this, you gotta do this. And mind you, these same people are still trying to get into it, right? They may have felt that, okay, they had the perfect height, they had the perfect look, whatever, right? And fail to realize that when you do commercial print modeling, right, anybody could do commercial print modeling. So for me, I'm a person, I never gave up, still worked within the industry, right? I worked within the industry, cool. Never thought about it, but I applied many times for commercial print. When was it? It was a few years ago. I had got my first commercial print job. Still didn't think about it, man. I made a video about it when I was done. It was like a few years ago. It was during the pandemic though, but it was for a big uniform company. For Dickies or something like that. But where I'm going with this is like I did it. And I remember I came across one person. That's why I can give this example. It's like, oh, did you do it? I was like, yeah, I did it. I've been to many, and I actually did many jobs too. This is all I did. I show pictures. Man, if you seen the look of the people's face, like, oh, okay. This is the same person that I always told what I wanted to get into, and I actually accomplished it. But it's not until they told me or asked me, I told them, and it was a surprise. So all you need is yourself. All in that yourself and a vision, goal. You see where you're going. Like imagine yourself being in that house. Imagine yourself being in that career. Like if you want to become that doctor, you close your eyes and you just see yourself, in the hospital, and then you're reading someone's chart, if that makes sense. You're a lawyer. Imagine you know, suited up, or you're in your office, and then you're just, you know, I'm closing my eyes because I want you to imagine this, and just imagine like, yo, you were just, you know, taking someone's client, you're fighting for someone, or, you know, as a contract lawyer, or, you know, a superstar, whatever, you know what I mean? So be so focused on where you need to be, you know what I mean, and complete those goals to be where you want to be. And when somebody, you know, for example, I'm not saying that you should worry about anybody else, but you don't need nobody to motivate to tell you you're doing a good job. Keep on doing what you're doing. You don't need that, because all you got is yourself. And believe it or not, and this is what I learned too, my journey. When I was so focused on where I needed to be, and I'm doing the things that I'm doing, I'll find other avenues within whatever I wanted to accomplish, so they keep me busy, for me not to think about, I did it. You know what I mean? Sometimes we get so overwhelmed, we're so happy, and we don't go tell everybody. But it's to the point now, I won't even do that no more. You don't need nobody else but yourself, and that's what's going to make you to the point where you see that you're independent, you know your self-worth, and it's a beautiful feeling, all right? So again, like I said, be so focused on your growth, you don't even notice who's cheering for you. And for those that's behind you, that's, you know, looking out for you, and you know, that's always been there, yo, those are the people I want to be around, because you were with me when I was at the bottom, and now I'm going to the top, or I'm at the top and you're still with me, if that makes sense. But if you like this video, I invite you guys to please like, share, and subscribe, and also comment, pin to the top, description, keep up with the latest luxury styles and trends at gorgeous271.com. All right, peace.